Gokhan Saki's highly anticipated UFC debut delivered in a big way. Saki signed with the promotion back in May, despite being 13 years removed from his sole MMA bout and possessing an 0-1 record in the sport. The fact that he had won multiple K1 Grand Prix tournaments, claimed the Glory Light Heavyweight title and beaten kickboxing luminaries such as Alexei Ignashov, Ray Sifo, Melvin Manhoef and Tyrone Spong in the years since, establishing himself as one of the best strikers on the planet, made up for his poor MMA credentials, however. And his signing was greeted with much fanfare. On Friday, Saki finally stepped into the octagon for the first time at UFC Fight Night 117 inside the famed Saitama Super Arena in Japan, and he produced thrills right from the get-go. The 33-year-old Dutch fighter teed off on Enrique da Silva in the early going, before dropping the Brazilian with a beautiful left cross from the southpaw stance. Da Silva managed to rise to his feet and shoot for a takedown, but Saki stuffed it and continued to batter the more experienced MMA fighter with a wonderful variety of strikes. Da Silva, however, occasionally dragged Saki into clinches and forced him to defend takedowns, something that UFC commentator Dan Hardy suggested was more taxing for the kickboxer due to his relative inexperience in the grappling department. This, combined with the fact that Saki had not fought in any discipline in over 2 years, seemed to cause the promotional debutant to gas somewhat in the final minute of the stanza. Da Silva subsequently seized the momentum, clinching Saki once again, before landing a heavy barrage of knees and elbows. Then, he made a fatal error. With Saki in trouble against the fence, Da Silva released the clinch and allowed the Turkish Tyson a little space. Amidst an onslaught of Da Silva punches and kicks, a wobbly, tired, but calm Saki found an opening for a huge left hook that flattened his foe. The referee immediately waved the fight off, despite some protests from Da Silva. At Gokhan Twitter.com Turkey at Turki 1905 September 23, 2017. Many felt that referee Greg Clangens had indeed stopped the fight too early, but UFC President Dana White had a message for those folks. Anyone who thinks that's a bad stopped page, please don't ever apply to be refs, White wrote on Instagram. Da Silva must be worried for his spot on the roster after this latest setback, as he has now lost 4 straight, 2 via KO, 1 via submission and another via decision. Saki's UFC odyssey, meanwhile, is just getting started, and he looks like he could be a fun addition to a light heavyweight division that is in desperate need of some fresh blood.